This is a little PowerPoint that we're going to go over really, really quick, and I will send it to you so that you can revert back to it, okay? So we're just going to go over just, let's go ahead and do the slideshow. Hold on. Just 1 second. Oh, man. Hold on, guys. All right. So now this is independent freight dispatching Zoom accelerator. What is a dispatcher? Okay, a freight dispatcher, you'll direct and monitor all movements of trucks and freight. A freight dispatcher handles all paperwork, and you will communicate with carriers throughout the day to monitor, the progress of the load and handle any problems that occur during the transport of the load. The freight dispatcher is involved in all aspects of the freight until delivery. You handle any issues that arise that will affect the scheduled time for the pickup and delivery. Problems such as problems with the truck, any delays due to traffic and the weather. Freight dispatcher keeps records of all truck movement and handles transfers of all paperwork to facilitate the load acquisition on movement. Okay, what is needed to be a dispatcher? Of course, you need a Wi-Fi. You need the load board access. The load board access is where you access the freight so that they are able to get work, so that the truck drivers get their work, right? You need your computer and a cell phone. Okay, now we're going to talk about what paperwork is needed to sign on a carrier. Sorry if this is too fast, because like I said, I am going to send this to you so that you can revert back to it and watch it again. The paperwork you get from driver is the MC authority papers, insurance papers, W-9, notice of assignment if the carriers, if they have any type of factoring. We'll go over factoring later. Okay, this is the paperwork you send your carrier. You're going to send your carrier a carrier agreement and a carrier profile. Okay, then we talk about trip planning. You're having a conversation with the carrier to make sure y'all are on the same page. HOS, hours of service. Make sure your carrier has had enough time to complete the load. Make sure your carrier is empty. Make sure your carrier is empty or about to be empty. Make sure there are loads coming out where you are sending carriers, right? Okay, and on the load board training, wait, let me get out of here. Excuse me, guys, so that you can see. Load board training. So load acquisition and negotiation. A dispatcher will also utilize load boards to search available freight and to contact the freight brokers regarding available loads. Okay, if you are interested in a load that is available, you will go on that load board, you will contact the freight broker that has the loads posted, and then the freight broker will discuss all the pertinent details of the movement and offer you a price to transport the freight. If you are representing the trucking company directly, you will either accept the offer on the load or counter his rate, offering your asking price. This will involve a little negotiation on price before the broker accepts the load rate you're offering. If you are negotiating a freight rate for a potential load with a freight broker, you need to verify the freight details and rate of pay with the owner-operator you represent before formally accepting the load. Okay, the load process. If the motor carrier, meaning your truck driver, you represent is not set up with the broker, basically the broker is going to ask you for paperwork for your carrier, right? So you will need to complete the initial paperwork to begin to do business with them. This is a one-time process with each new broker. So when you go on that load board, there's brokers posting loads for your carrier so that he can have freight to move. And each broker, if he's not set up with each broker, you're going to have to go. I mean, when you call them, they're going to ask you, can like, what is your carrier's MC number? And then you're like, oh, okay, his MC number is 12345 6, and they're going to say, oh, you know what, I don't have your carrier set up with my company, so can you please have your carrier fill out some information for us so that we can get him set up, just like you set up their carrier. They have to set up your carrier as well. Okay, so now we have the process, the broker setup paperwork. So he's going to ask your carrier, he's going to give a welcome letter. He wants your truck driver's profile of his company, his profile, like his personal information, property, and then his motor carrier agreement with all his insurance, all that stuff. I mean, the agreement that he agrees to the terms that the broker is offering. And then his operating authority, his surety bond, and insurance request form. Okay, because they have insurance. Everybody. It's just like paperwork. This is for the. These are like legal things that they need to keep your driver's information with their files, because they have a file on your driver as well. You have a file for your driver, and they have a file for your driver. See, this is just all the paperwork. This is motor carrier paperwork, meaning your driver. You'll receive, this is the stuff that you want back from your carrier: his operating authority. You need a W-9 form, his insurance certificate, and you keep all this stuff. Okay. Motor carrier paperwork. The freight dispatcher will complete all the required paperwork and return with the following. Okay. Okay. You can do broker credit checks. The dispatcher will be responsible. You will be responsible for checking the credit of the broker who was offering the load to the carrier. So basically, you go on that load board, and there's a spot on there where you can check to see if they pay their people on time, because you don't want to work with somebody who's not going to be able to pay you. It says like over, I would say like over 87% or whatever. I would say like in the 90s, to tell you the truth. But it is on that load board. You will see how you will be able to check the credit of the broker. So like I said, the dispatcher will be responsible for checking the credit of the broker who was offering the load to the carrier. Depending on the outcome of the credit check, he will require the other party to prepay for the transport. You must perform credit check for every load, whether he is a new broker or current one. Like I said, you go on the load board, and you will find out if your broker, is cool or not to work with. You got to do your due diligence as well. Okay, there are different ways to check the credit on the potential shipper. The way you perform the credit check will depend on the services your motor carrier has subscribed to. So also, not only checking credit check for your broker, but you could check the shipper too. That's a whole nother story, because the broker is the one who calls the shipper. Okay, a surety bond. The surety bond will be ace in the hole for the carrier. If the freight broker does not pay the transportation charges, most reputable brokers will provide a copy of the surety bond in the carrier setup packages. Even if a copy of the surety bond is provided, you must contact the bonding company and verify the bond is still good standing with the FMCSA. The FMCSA is the Transportation